und herzlich willkommen, liebe YL und OM, zu unserem Schulkontakt mit der Gesamtschule in Leverkusen Schlebusch. Mein Name ist Vincent, Delta Lima 6 India India aus dem Ortsverband Leverkusen G11. Uns erreichen zahlreiche Nachrichten zu unserem ISS-Schulkontakt an der Gesamtschule in Leverkusen Schlebusch. Deswegen, bevor wir jetzt hier den Live-Mitschnitt aus der Aula uns anhören werden, noch kurz ein paar Details zur Technik, damit wir nicht immer wieder die gleichen Fragen beantworten müssen. Als Funkgeräte haben wir zweimal den TS-2000 benutzt. Warum den TS-2000? Der TS-2000 ist in der Lage, gleichzeitig über die Querschnittstelle eine Frequenz für VFO A und B zu empfangen. Man muss wissen, die ISS hat an Bord keinerlei Frequenzkorrektur für den Doppler-Effekt und das muss alles an der Amateurfunkstation gestehen auf der Erde. Also muss sowohl sende- als auch empfangsseitig ständig die Frequenz nachgeführt werden. Dazu wurde die Steuerungssoftware HamRadio Deluxe benutzt. Die hat auch den Rotor gesteuert. Als Rotor kam ein Elevationsrotor von SPID zum Einsatz. Ja, dazu hatten wir als Antennen eine Kreuzjagi von Anjo-Antennen und eine Turnstile-Antenne aus dem Satellitenfunk bekannt. Und nun geht's auch schon los. Viel Spaß mit dem ISS-Schulkontakt an der Gesamtschule in Leverkusen Schlebusch.
Folgendes: absolute Ruhe, ganz wichtig, weil wir müssen die verstehen. Zweitens, wir werden gleich die Frage stellen, beziehungsweise wenn wir den Astronauten haben, schenkt euch den Applaus bitte, wir machen das nachher, bei der letzten Frage. Ihr werdet schon mitbekommen, wenn ich sage, tschüss, Timothy, thank you very much, goodbye, weil uns geht die Zeit verloren, wenn wir hier einen riesen Applaus reinhauen. Das machen wir nicht, das machen wir am Ende. Das heißt, wir werden ihn begrüßen, wir werden ihn rufen, das habt ihr hier vorne auf dem Plakat stehen. Und wenn er da ist, werden wir direkt mit der ersten Frage beginnen, dann kommt die erste Schülerin hoch, dann kommt die zweite, dritte und so weiter. Und dann hören wir uns die Antworten an. Okay? Ich drücke uns allen ganz fest die Daumen. Noch 30 Sekunden. Okay.
Hier ist Delta Lima 01. Warte, nochmal. Ich war voll aufgeregt. Okay. Hier ist Delta Lima 0 India Lima calling Oscar Romeo 4 India Sierra Sierra. Do you copy over? Here is Delta Lima 01, India Lima calling Oscar Romeo 4 India Sierra. Do you copy over?
Here is Delta Lima 0 India Lima calling Oscar Romeo 4 India Sierra Sierra. Do you copy over? Here is Delta Lima 0, India Lima, calling Oscar Romeo 4, India Sierra Sierra. Do you copy? Over.
Hello, Delta Lima 0, India Lima, this is Oscar Romeo 4, India Sierra Sierra. I read you 555. How me, over?
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome, Timothy, in Germany, Leverkusen Schlebusch, on this school at the moment. And the aula is full of people, and we are listening. And here is the first question.
What does ISS stand for? Over.
Guten Tag, and it's great to be talking to you in Germany. ISS is the International Space Station, and the main thing about that is the fact that we're international, and there are so many nations that take part in building and operating this great space station. Over.
How do you how do you pee in space? Over.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a good question. We have a fan that uses airflow, and the airflow keeps everything going in the right direction. Without that airflow, of course, urine, like water, would go everywhere. So we rely on that fan keeping everything going down a pipe, and then that sucks it into a big bucket, and we store it, and then we send it down to Earth in one of our cargo vessels, and it burns up in the atmosphere. Over.
For how long do you stay in space? Over.
I'll be here for 6 months. Normally we stay 6 months on board the space station, but currently we have 2 astronauts, Scott and Nisha, who have just spent 1 year on board the space station, and they go home tomorrow. Over.
How can you sleep without gravity? Over.
That's to. It's quite hard to sleep in the beginning, but I like to just float around, and now I'm used to it. I have a very good sleep up here. Over.
What is your mission? Over.
The main mission is to conduct science on board the space station. Now, we also have to keep the space station running. It's 15 years old, so we have to maintain it as well. But most of our time is spent doing science activities. Over.
How big is the ISS? Over.
The ISS is about the size of a football pitch on the outside, and inside it's about the size of a 747, a Boeing jumbo jet. Over.
Is the food tasty? Over.
Yes, the food's not too bad. It's not as good as it is on Earth, of course. We don't have any fresh fruit or fresh vegetables, but it's not too bad. Over.
What did you do to prepare yourself? Over.
So I've been training for 6 years for this mission to space, and we have to get ready for all sorts of things. Our training takes care of spacewalks, of how to use a robotic arm to grapple visiting vehicles, how to do the science activities, how to do any emergency procedures that we might need to do. So 6 years of long training. Over.
Is being an astronaut your childhood dream? Over.
Yes, I've always wanted to be an astronaut, but I ended up flying, and most of my career was as a pilot, an instructor and a test pilot, and I was just very lucky that I was able to become an astronaut later in life. Over.
What's most beautiful about being in space?
Over.
Most definitely the most beautiful thing is the view of planet Earth looking out the window. And in fact, just before I was talking to you, I was having a look as we approached Europe and we approached Germany, and it was just beautiful. It's a stunning day out there. Over.
What was your first impression on the ISS? Over.
My first impression was just how big it was, because I saw it from the window of the Soyuz spacecraft as we were coming close and we were docking to the space station, and I was surprised at how big the space station is. But actually, on board, everything is just like our training, so our training is very good. Over.
What are you thinking of the moment you are flying into space? Over.
I think you're really just thinking of two things. Firstly, how exciting it is because you're on a rocket and you're experiencing G-force and acceleration, and you're seeing the view of planet Earth. And also, you're concentrating very hard on the launch. The launch is a very dangerous phase of the mission, and so you have to make sure everything is going smoothly. Over.
What have you always been eager to do in space? Over.
I've always been eager to just play around in zero gravity, and it's wonderful. You know, every day we move around the spacecraft. We can do somersaults, we can go upside down, it doesn't matter which direction we're in. Eating and drinking is a lot of fun in zero gravity, so that has to be the most fun activity. Over.
Can practicing underwater be compared to being in space? Over.
Practicing underwater is very, very good. It's not exactly the same as being in space, but it's the best we can do for a long period of time on planet Earth. And it's good enough to get us ready for spacewalking. Over.
How does fire react in zero gravity? Over.
Fire reacts differently in zero gravity because there's no convection up here. Because there's no convection, fire doesn't form a natural flame shape that we're used to on planet Earth. Instead, fire forms a ball shape, and it burns much cooler because there's no fresh oxygen coming in to keep the flame hot. Over.
How do you protect yourself from rays in space? Over.
We rely on the space station to protect us to some degree from rays from space, but we do get a much higher dose of radiation up here. I get about the equivalent of 6 chest x-rays per day being on board the space station, so it is much higher than on Earth. Over.
What kind of feeling is it to be back to Earth? Over.
Well, I shall have to let you know in June. This is my first mission, and so I've still got about 3 months left to go on board the space station, but I'll certainly be looking forward to getting back to friends and family then. Over.
What is it like to be far away from your family for such a long time? Over.
Well, of course, I miss my friends, I miss my family very much, but this is a once-in-a-lifetime unique opportunity and a huge privilege to fly into space, and so really They understand that and they've been very supportive, but of course I do miss them. Over.
How does it feel to work together with the same people all the time? Over.
Well, thankfully the space station is quite big for just 6 people on board, so we have plenty of space to sort of be by ourselves if we want to, but it's great fun working with my crewmates. We get on very, very well together. Over.
What is it like to look down on Earth? Over.
The view of Earth is just magnificent and it changes all the time. Every time I go to the window I see something new, whether that's different weather systems, maybe it's dust storms or sandstorms across Africa, or it might be thunderstorms at night over Indonesia. Every time I go to the window you see something beautiful and you see something new. Over.
Okay, Timothy, this is Delta Lima Zero India Lima returning. So thank you very much. We had a live picture from you via the internet. So thank you very much for answering all the 20 questions. We wish you a very nice trip and coming back to Earth healthy. And this is your applause for this event. Over.
This is Oscar Romeo 4, India Sierra Sierra. It's been wonderful talking to you today. Thank you for the excellent questions and have a great day from the International Space Station. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye and have a nice trip. This is Delta Lima Zero, India Lima. Clear. So, an dieser Stelle möchte ich mich ganz, ganz, ganz herzlich bei meinem Team bedanken, denn ohne die wäre das hier überhaupt nicht möglich gewesen und der Applaus gehört jetzt denen.